Sandhan. All Gujarat Integrated Classroom.
Satellite na માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.
Good morning, students. My name is Dr. Swarna Bharti. I'm going to talk about forms of communication today. We will try to look at different forms of communication and try to understand how they help in our day-to-day communication and how they help us in communicating with people around us. Forms of communication, there are basically two types of forms of communication, as you can see on the screen. There is verbal communication and the other form is called the non-verbal communication. Verbal communication, what we call verbal communication, is basically exchange of ideas, thoughts, feelings, emotions, information in the form of words. That is, in verbal communication, we use words to express whatever we are feeling, whatever we are thinking, or whatever information we want to share. Now, how do we use words? We either use words in spoken form or in written form. As you can see on the screen, I have a picture of a classroom situation. As you are students, so I feel that you can relate to this. There's a teacher teaching, talking to the students, and this is a regular classroom scenario. As you can see, there are two students talking to each other when the lecture is on, when the teacher is teaching. Now, what is the teacher doing? He's talking to the students. When a teacher is lecturing or is teaching something, is using words in the spoken form. Now, this is one type of verbal communication, which is called either spoken communication or oral communication. Now, if you look at the other figure here on the slide, I have a cartoon of Goofy who is writing something. I felt you could relate to this because exactly this is the kind of expressions students have during examinations. When your question paper is in front of you, you're all tensed up and normally you start sweating. जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं पसीने छूट जाते हैं. So basically what you are doing in your examination, when you're taking exam, you are answering the questions given in the question paper. And how you are answering them? You are writing the answers. That is, you are writing with a pen or a pencil on a piece of paper. Now this is the second form of verbal communication, which is called written form of communication. That is, when you write words, when you communicate by writing down words, this or typing words, this is called written form of communication. So verbal communication is of two types. First one is the spoken form of communication and the second type is written form of communication. Now, the importance of oral communication. As I said, oral communication is the transmission of ideas, thoughts, feelings, emotions, information, instructions, etc. exchanged through spoken words. That is the definition of oral communication. And it's not surprising that in day-to-day life, normally, we use spoken communication or what is also known as oral communication for something like 65 to 75% of the time. And it's the same even in professional scenarios also, whether you are a manager, a doctor, a teacher, or a CEO of a big organization, of an MNC, each one of them in every profession, they use oral communication for something like 65 to 75% of the time. So oral communication is very important in that way. Then we have the examples of oral communication. Oral communications, as I already mentioned, teaching is a form of oral communication. As you can see in the picture, I have two people talking to each other on the phone. So when you talk on the phone with your friends or teachers or with your relatives or your father or mother, that is an example of oral communication. Then I have another example here. It's a photo of a presentation. A lady is making a presentation. In the present day organizations, making presentations is very common, and it is one of the requirements. So presentations are also a very good example of oral communication. Then I have another photo here, or rather it is a kind of clip art or a cartoon I have. Now here it is a kind of workshop that is going on, workshop where for certain hours you are being taught a skill, and then you are made to practice that skill. So this is an example of a workshop. And then meetings. Again, in any profession these days, meetings are a very common scenario. And the form of communication that we use is verbal communication and in-verbal communication. These are all examples of oral communication. That is, we use words, we speak words. That is, spoken form of communication is used. This is called the oral communication. Now, let us look at the next form. The next form of communication in verbal communication is written communication. Now, as we have already talked about it, what is written communication? When you are writing down words and communicating, that is called written communication. That is transmission of your ideas, thoughts, feelings, emotions, instructions, information, etc. in the form of words is called written form of communication. As you can see, I have some, again, pictures here. I have a picture of a postman delivering letters. So letters are a very good example of written form of communication. Then I have a person who is sitting in front of a computer typing a mail. So again, when you type a mail, or maybe a better example for you to recognize would be WhatsApp. When you use WhatsApp or when you are using SMS, what you are doing, you are typing down words. Typing words is also a kind of written form of communication, because you are typing words which will be read by the other person. So that is also a very good example of written form of communication. Then the third photograph I have here is of a person who is writing down something. He has a board, and on it he has in the other hand he has a pen or a pencil, and he is writing something. He is listening to someone saying something and he is writing down something. So that again is an example of written form of communication. Apart from that, there are many other examples of written form of communication. Like you have letters. I'm sure at some point of time in your life you must have written letters to your parents. If not the physical letters, maybe the virtual ones, that is emails. Whenever we send an email to our parents, friends, or for whatever purpose, we use emails. That also is a form of written communication. Apart from that, you have, if I have to talk about the business scenario, or if I have to talk about the professional setup or organizations, on a day-to-day basis, many types of letters are written. They are given different names, like it can be an order, it can be a circular, it can be a notice, it can be a memorandum, it can be reports, it can be proposals, so etc. These are different examples of written form of communication. Moving on to next one. So just to sum up quickly, there are two forms of communication. The first one that we just saw was verbal form of communication, where words are used, and we use words in written and oral communication. Written communication, where we write down words, and written form of communication, and oral form of communication is where words are spoken. Now moving on to the next form of communication is non-verbal communication. We defined verbal communication as communication where words are used. So I think it's not difficult to guess what is non-verbal communication. Anything that is not verbal is non-verbal, to put it in very simple words. So to define non-verbal communication is communication where you are transmitting your ideas, thoughts, feelings, emotions, any kind of information or instruction in without using words, in the form of maybe gestures or simple facial expressions, or maybe by the way you stand or by the way you sit. Yes, if you are surprised that how the way we stand or sit can communicate something, then non-verbal communication is something that is very interesting, you should learn. And no wonder you must have heard about the very famous proverb, actions speak louder than words. Actions, when you are acting, actions in the sense of bodily actions, you are not using words, but bodily actions. Gestures are a kind of bodily action. Like for example, when I do something like this, a thumbs up, this is a kind of sign that you show to your friends outside the examination hall or during the examination hall to say all the best. Now this is a kind of gesture. It's a kind of action that you are doing, and you are expressing your thoughts to the other person. So you don't use words, but still when you show this to your friend understands that you are wishing them best for their examinations. But in order to understand this proverb, let's further explore what are the different forms of nonverbal communication, and we will try to understand how nonverbal communication helps in understanding a person and understanding what the person is trying to communicate in a better way. So the first type of nonverbal communication that we have is called kinesics. It is called kinesics. And kinesics in simple words can be also called as body language. It includes posture. Now, it can be a bit confusing. It can be a big question mark. What is the difference between body language and posture? Now, normally body language is the body language, that is the way you sit, stand and walk normally according to your body type. Now, according to experts, there are three body types. They are called ectomorph, mesomorph and endomorphs. Ectomorphs are people who have thin, lean bodies and they are normally tall. Mesomorph body types are normal, muscular, average body types. And endomorphs are people who are round, or you can say they are obese or fat. Now, the kind of body structure we have, depending on the kind of body structure we have a certain way of sitting, standing and walking. And this normal style of sitting, standing and walking according to our body type is called body language. And posture is something that we normally have got from yoga, if I may say. Yoga teaches us to how we can have perfect body structure, and the perfect body structure can be achieved only when we have proper postures. So posture is actually something that is learnt. That is, I am sure that your teachers as well as your parents might have many times told you that sit straight, don't slouch. Like right now I'm slouching. So I'm sitting straight. My spinal cord is straight. So when I sit straight, this is a kind of posture. Posture is something that is scientific, that teaches us the correct way of sitting, standing and walking, so that it gives us a good personality. So that's the basic difference. And here I have a slide which shows different kinds of postures and how we sit. Like for example, if you look at this, the sitting postures, someone has a habit of sitting cross, keeping a leg on another knee and sitting like that. Some people have the habit of crossing their legs and sitting. Now this is a correct way of sitting, with your feet apart in a comfortable manner with your back straight. Similarly, if you look at the standing posture, then this is how the person. Now this is a wrong way of standing, because at some point of time one of the leg may ache, and then you start shifting your legs and it becomes very uncomfortable, and it is visible in your personality. It is visible to the other person that you are not comfortable. So kinesics is basically body language, and body language as well as posture, that is something that is learnt. Basically, what is kinesics or body language? It is the way we sit, stand and walk, and yes, even the way we sleep. All these, they form our body language. But just to sum up, as I told you, there's a slight difference between body language and posture. Body language is something that we have normally according to our body type. That is, whether we are thin, fat or normal body weight. So we have a body language depending on the body type, and posture is something that we can learn, having the right posture, so that we have a good personality, good physical personality. And normally a good posture is gives a very good impression when you are facing an interview or when you are working generally in a professional scenario. Who doesn't want to have a good personality? So kinesics, the first type is kinesics, and you have body language and posture. Now if you're thinking that kinesics is only about body language and posture, no. We have other forms of kinesics like physical appearance. Physical appearance also forms under kinesics. Physical appearance, when we say physical appearance, what is the first thing that we think about? Obviously, yes, clothes. The kind of clothes we wear also defines the kind of personality we are. Normally, now this is a picture that I have chosen because this best depicts a business situation or a professional situation. Normally, in a professional situation, our physical appearance should be neat and clean. We should be formally dressed. Now, different examples, like for example, an interview. If you are wearing a yellow pant and a red shirt to an interview, it doesn't look good. It's not formal. Similarly, if you're wearing a jeans pant and sports shoes to interview, that is not called a formal wear. Now, this picture gives you an example of a proper physical appearance, a formal dressing. That's why it also says dress for success, because the first thing that impresses about us, the first impression that we create in the other person's mind is normally our dressing sense. And then followed by it is how we groom ourselves. That is how we make our hair and what kind of accessories we wear, and the amount of makeup that we wear, the kind of shoes we wear, or the kind of bags that we carry. All these things, they are a part and parcel of our physical appearance. And yes, when I say physical appearance, this includes our body language and posture as well. As you can see, the gentlemen and the ladies standing here in the picture, they have a correct posture and body language according to their body types. So you can actually, it's very difficult to differentiate between different parts of non-verbal communication, because when we look at a person, we look in the sum total.